Hey, today I am going to talk about the 12 astrological houses. I went ahead and titled this just to fill the space. So the houses are kind of like your departments of life, like stages of life, and they're where certain energies are most likely to manifest. So, you'll have your planets in a certain zodiac sign and also in a house. And maybe I'll do a video on this some other time where I describe how there's a zodiac wheel and then there's the wheel of houses, and they're different and they get sort of laid one over the top of the other, joined together by your birth time. And that's where your natal chart comes from. But that's complicated, and so today we're just gonna talk about the meaning of the houses. So when you get your natal chart done, you can see a list of your houses, and I already put the numbers here down through 12. Each house, regardless of your natal chart, each house is associated with a zodiac sign and a planet. And the planets are called natural rulers. So just kind of what the association is. So for example, the 10th house is about career and social status. And we know Capricorns are hard workers, right? And Capricorn's planet is Saturn. And Saturn is a sort of taskmaster planet, that makes us focus on the goals we want to achieve. So the 10th house is associated with Capricorn and Saturn. And it doesn't have much to do or anything to do with your chart specifically, but it's still useful, I think. So I'm just going to fill in the zodiac signs for each house and the planets for each house based on association only, and then we'll talk about each house, what it actually means. So for the first house, we have Aries and Mars. I'm just going to do the symbols to save space. For the second house, we have Taurus and Venus. The third house, Gemini and Mercury. Some of my symbols might be a little, they kind of sometimes look like marshmallows from Lucky Charms, I think. And then, this is super stylized, we'll say. Fourth house, we have Cancer and the Moon. Fifth house, Leo and the Sun. And sixth house, Virgo and Mercury again. Then seventh is Libra and Venus. Eighth house, we have Scorpio and Pluto. Ninth, Sagittarius and Jupiter. Then 10th, Capricorn and Saturn, as we discussed. Just go over there. And Aquarius and Uranus for 11. And then for 12, we have Pisces and Neptune. Okay, so now that we have all those symbols there, just as a nice little reference, we'll talk about what each house actually represents. So the first house represents your physical body, your personality. Oh, this too. So they're departments of life, and you'll notice they're kind of chronological. So this one's like yourself, your self, your sense of yourself as a human. Then we go to like possessions. Then we go to down here marriage, and then career and things like that. So they kind of go in order. So here we have for the first house, physical body, your personality, your image, identity. So I'm going to put self, life, body. So it's how you initiate things, how you're impulsive, and the planets in this house influence how others perceive you. So this is where you get your ascendant from. Then we have the second house. So I'm going to put possessions and money, like your first idea of what's yours in this world. Yeah. So it's your possessions, your money, your self-worth, self-esteem, how you value things, how you value yourself. So this is like actually getting to know yourself. This is where you find value in yourself, how you gain and spend your own money, your attitude towards money, your potential for accumulating money, basically. Yeah, and then it being associated with Taurus, because Taurus is kind of like a homebody. They like to be comfortable. They like to be surrounded by nice things. Who doesn't, right? But it's associated with Taurus because that's particularly important to them. Okay, so third house, we have social and intellectual lessons, thinking patterns, like your early education. I'm gonna put communication, or should I put social and intellectual lessons? I kind of like that. I'm gonna do that. So that's our third house. Then our fourth house, we have it's everything regarding the home, your upbringing, your roots. So in that sense, kind of like your base of consciousness. It's how you understand yourself within that scope of home and family and your parents. Then our fifth house, we have children, creativity, pursuit of pleasure. So any interests or hobbies you have, how you like to take risks, how you like to express yourself, and any affairs of the heart are here too. So marriage comes in the seventh house with other cooperative partnerships, but love just for love's sake comes here. So put creativity, children, romance. Then we have the sixth house, which is for mundane daily tasks, the quality of works and jobs you perform on a sort of routine level. So like your personal hygiene, your diet, if you get sick, stuff like that. So health, service, like volunteer work as well goes here. Service, work, routine. Then in the 7th house, as I said, it's cooperative partnerships. I'm going to put that. So as I said, this includes marriage. It includes business partnerships, your enemies, like open enemies, because there's some unconscious stuff happening down here, but any open enemies you have go here. Contracts, things like that. It's more permanently binding type relationships up here. Then we have 8, which is kind of the opposite of 2. So like 2 is possessions and money. 8 is other people's possessions and money, or joint possessions and money. So this includes some stuff that might seem at odds or only negative, but it's not. So I'm going to put sex, death, inheritance, loss. So it's like, other people's money, inheritance, or taxes, stuff like that. But this also goes for death, other people's things and money. In death, we lose our bodies, and maybe it wasn't really yours to begin with. Other people come into play and all of this, and kind of things that you don't have full control over. Okay, then we have 9. So big thoughts, big ideas, like travel, education, religion, law. That's what I'm going to put. So yeah, like ceremonies, rituals go here. Any abstract learning goes here, where you're sort of searching for meaning goes here too. Then the 10th house, we have, as I said before, I think, career and social status. So anything social, like honor, prestige, recognition, it's the public area of your life. Then the 11th house, I'm going to put, it's like community focus, so maybe friendships and aspirations. And that's because, it has to do with community, large groups, friends, but also associations, liberty, sort of high-minded ideals. And finally, the 12th house is our subconscious house, or also the unconscious, and lots of secrets and taboos. So let me put that. So this is our hidden self, apart from the everyday physical reality we live in. It also governs habits, memories, secrets, as I said, mental illness, karmic debts fall into this as well. Yeah, so all the hidden stuff. Okay, so these are our 12 astrological houses, and the zodiac signs they're associated with, and the planets they're associated with. They will be more useful to you if you have your own natal chart done, or birth chart, of course. I'll leave a link in the description where you can get that done. And hopefully this video and this chart are useful to you as you look at your own natal chart or birth chart to kind of understand more of the background and where the conclusions being drawn are coming from. And I just hope it's useful for you. And regardless, if you don't believe this stuff or anything like that, it is interesting, I think, to think of life in divided into these departments. And yeah, I think they're pretty comprehensive, in part because they can feel a little broad, but at the same time, they make sense. I even think the 8th house makes sense. I understand why these things are grouped together. So it's kind of interesting as an exercise too, to think about different ways of categorizing things that maybe aren't apparent in the way we typically talk about them. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you were trying to sleep, I hope you're asleep. And I will see you soon.